Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Leilui nishmas Mordechai. Dear Rebelli, I've opened up another division in my company, and I've been posting join Daf Yomi status for the last 2 weeks with the results. At least 5 people have joined the joinery. I just posted my new logo. He's a joiner. Shimmy Leafman does woodwork, just joinery. So he said, just join. Bekitzer, the top is the original. Wishing you all a safe Matzliach trip to Miami. Like Manchester, you will need an umbrella, but this time for the sun, not the rain. Shimmy, just join. Rabbi Sai, I'm asking the Olam to please daven for me. Be'emes, I'm not joking. It's always difficult for me to leave my routine and get on flights and make the flights. I know there's a little fun involved, but in between the fun, you could ask these guys. Remember the pressure during the safari? You gave me musar. You said I was ruining it for everybody.
So bad.
Dear Rebbe Umayri.
Aren't you taking first class? Don't they wait for you if you're first class?
Dear Rebbe Umayri at Tzadik Rebelli. Everybody's asking about Natan Kashnud. He had not such good thoughts about his life. And I just wanted to send, please calm down over there. Thank you. I just wanted to send you the entire MDY family an update on my situation here in Los Angeles. Baruch Hashem, I've somewhat settled down, found a place to rent thanks to Ben Hagigi and Shlomo Lazarian. So I can tell you, I hope, and please do not, be'emes, if you're listening to this, do not forward this to my son. But my son told me that he found a great place in Los Angeles to rent. Rent is like $3,000-$4,000. He found a place that's brand new for like $1,000 a month. So I said, that's amazing. But immediately I called Shlomo Lazarian and I said, no, how much are you paying under the table? He says, what, who told you? I said, there's no such thing as $1,000 rent. So here also, I don't know, I'm just saying, Shlomo Lazarian is involved in rent, it's not a good thing. Started going back to Minyanim, learning Seder, and going to the gym daily. I never stopped learning the daf throughout this entire deal. Baruch Hashem, all my kids are finally back in school. Although I need a little bit of kesher nafshi to handle the 2 oldest ones. Specifically wanted to send a special thanks to Leilui Leichter, Yitzchak, Shlomo Lazarian, who reached out and helped me. But listen to this, Rabbi. This blew me away. Also, I don't know who, but someone from MDY sent me the entire art school shas. What does that cost? $1,500 or so? More, $2,000. When I was at the lowest point in my life, the act of chesed and just knowing there are people out there who care about me kept me going. So I want to take the opportunity to thank Mr. Anonymous for sending me that hug from Hashem. I know it's you. Sit down. It's Seder. Okay. Really looking forward to walking to Tzaddik for Los Angeles. Thankfully, Natan Kashnud, Yishkoyach Natan for the update. It touched my heart. This guy, nobody knows who he is, sent a $2,000 gift to somebody that was down. It's incredible to be part of this mishpacha. Be'emes. Tzaddik. That's your 3rd remark. You're limited to 1, and preferably at the end of the year, when you're usually asleep. Okay. It's geschmack. It was funny? It was funny, okay.
Very good.
You got a shot from your father-in-law. Bring me that shot. Say, show me. Every single one of your volumes has a letter from your father-in-law. You have to remember that he gave you that shot. I saw that. There are 2 siyumim that I'm announcing here. If you live in, what is this? No. What's the name of that place that a lot of Hasidim? Stanford Hill. Here we go. Shkoyach. It's Gishmak to the Daf, and in Chicago. Hasidim for MDY Siyum on Nedarim, which will take place on Motzi Shabbos, Pashas Boy. They're saying that a lot of them don't have access. They just watch the shir, but they don't have like WhatsApp. So here it is. Motzi Shabbos, Pashas Boy, 20th of January at 8:30 p.m. in Crowland Road Shul. It's 111, 113 Crowland Road. And everybody in Chicago has WhatsApp, so they don't need me to read it. But here it is. It's sponsored by Simi Mandelbaum and Philip Byrne. And they're also accepting donations over there if you want. Just spent 15 minutes searching for my phone in my car while using my phone as a flashlight. When I saw this, I reminded myself what you said about looking for your phone while holding it. Rabbi Kornbluth is going to put it in his next book of jokes. Okay. Eitan Bernstein from Springfield, New Jersey. Psachim Daf Yud. was a tremendous chus to be able to attend a live MDY shir this past month of Shabbos. While the size of the shir was significantly less than the previous two shirim I attended, the one in Belarus and the 5 towns, the energy and excitement of a live shir in your home court was a truly special evening, but it almost didn't happen. We were visiting from New Jersey. My family was staying in RBS. The kids were very, very cranky. They started losing it. I told my wife, let's just go back to Yerushalayim. The kids need to go to sleep. In that moment, MDY seemed so far yet so close. I was disappointed, but I figured it wasn't in the cards for this trip. My wife then turned to me and said, I want you to go. Not just that you should go, but I want you to go. I knew I had the green light. You see, if you're doing MDY right, it doesn't just impact yourself, but it impacts all those around you. MDY is just as important to her as it was for me. MDY is not just a daf shir or a daily limud one does on their own. Rather, it's something the whole family feels a part of. Thank you for everything. Eitan Burstein, Yishkoyach, Ari Escherson is here in the house. Yishkoyach, thanks for coming again. And finally, I got to read this because I've been toiling with this and I was schmoozing with Noam about this yesterday a lot. And here's a very long email. I don't know that I could go through the whole thing, but it's Matti Weinberg again. I emailed you 2 days ago about the MDY kids in Muncie. Many people have been sending in requests and inquiries. I came with a solution. I have great news. I'd like to announce the first ever worldwide MDY kids program, which will begin next week, Be'ez Hashem. Of course, it's only with the Rebelli's permission. No, you don't have my permission. Not yet. Let's talk about it. I'll need the admin people of the MDY to create a special WhatsApp group. Here are the details of the program. Beginning this Sunday, all boys between 11 and 15 around the world can begin learning Masechtas Megillah in time to make a scene on Purim. All our boys are already doing the RBS. The pace will be 6 blot a week. Every Sunday, we send a test of each boy completed mamish. What we were talking about, an online raffle for $50. At the end of the Masechta, there will be a grand raffle of $300. Each boy that completes the Masechta will be zocheh to make a siyum on the Purim suit surrounded by their family and friends. A bonus raffle will be made for any boy that sends in a picture, short video of the Purim suit siyum. Masechtas Megillah will be sponsored by myself. B'schus finding a sponsor for the next Masechta, which will begin on Tainus Esther. It's unbelievable. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Bloomberg from Queens. Shalom Aleichem. Have a seat. We might even have seats up here somewhere. This is the same Mati Weinberg from the Chidushim from the Megillah that we have over here? Yeah, it makes sense now. Anyways, thanks to Yosef for the hard work. Give him a raise. It's on Torah anytime. Our idea, I'll just tell you real quickly. The idea that I thought of during Shachris, as usual, I'm not going to say it was during Shmon Esrei. Maybe, I'm not going to tell the Olam. It was not during Kaddish. It was that we should do a Zoom and have all the boys on there. You can't turn off your screen. There'll be monitors, adult monitors, to make sure there's no bombers, that the kids are actually watching. Maybe we'll ask them some questions at the end to make sure that they're listening. And every single day there should be a raffle of some sort. And every week there should be even a larger raffle. Every month, even a bigger one. At the end of this, sweatshirt, swag, that kind of thing. And then it could be international. It could have literally hundreds and hundreds of kids on these Zoom. If anybody has any ideas, who's not part of the shir, but Davin's here, he's one of the Kohanim, the Davin's here. He came over to me yesterday and he gave me $1,000 for MDY kids. He was so inspired by the idea, even though he's not part of the shir, $1,000. And Mati Weinberg, I think, said also $1,000. So, wine rib. So I think there's a lot of potential. Just I would like to iron out all the kinks before we launch it. There shouldn't be any issues, and we should know what we're doing. Okay. 500 and how many? 550 people. Yeah, I got the thing. 550, and one of them is, okay, we have special guests coming in from all Daf. Rabbi Shway. Okay. 550. If you're not Hasidish, please don't register anymore for the Siyum. We don't want you there. There's enough people. It's too. We want more Hasidim. Thank you. This is a joke. Rabbi Isai, it's a very exciting day. We're on the last stop of Masechtas Nedarim. Let's see the sponsors. What?
Actually, it's not the coming days. Almost at the last stop.
We're on the last stop. I'll just say this from Beryl Shmukler. He says, I heard your beautiful words about Yoni, and I heard that Yoni was transported by Atzala ear to...
Here he is. The head of Atzala ear is right here. Stand up.
Are you really? You heard about this transport of Yoni yesterday? Where did they bring him to? Is it HIPAA? You're not allowed to say? Mark Ashkenazi was telling me. To Orlando, from Orlando, whatever, it's a special place. Anyways, they do this kind of stuff. Unbelievable at Atzala ear. What's your name, Tzaddik? Yisrael friend, I should do the get over here? Get over here, Yisrael. I would like to fly. Maybe if I do a get over here, you'll put me in the front seat. I would like to fly in a jet one day, in the front. He needs a major referral. You're in a Michal ben Adina Sima by Beryl Schmuckler. The Koil is sponsored by Nedarim from Lakewood. The Koil is also sponsored by supporting Torah Strength now B'tachan. This is the last day of the sponsor of the Masech. The Masech Snazah doesn't have a sponsor yet. And Zgula Katorah of Tomchia Kiyakov Ya'alak. Sponsor Chodesh. Nishmas Zechariah ben Moshe. Avi, you got some extra for this, Avi?
No, it
Won't
won't help.
help.
Nothing will help that.
It helped yesterday. He's kind of quiet. By Shprintzy now and grossly nishmas the yahrzeits our father. Shlomo Zalman ben Yitzchak Aייzיק. Saul Birnbaum. Binyamin Aייzיק, hi, I'm on TV. Hi. Taki, what's going on? Binyamin Aייzיק ben Tzvi Hirsch HaKoyen. By Shimmy Weiss Si41 and wife, in honor of our 3rd year wedding anniversary till 120 on Main. Nishmas Sheva Bas R Tovia Avraham, whose yahrzeit is Beis Shvat. And the art is sponsored for complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah. Also, Sruli Adler, a guy, I think from Muncie, is sponsoring 100 shekel per kid who's doing MDY kids. And there's, how many kids were yesterday? I don't know.
312.
91 kids. If you ever listen to the video, you'll see any comment that Yosef Biliak makes is very loud. Everybody hears it. Somehow, nobody knows why. I don't know. I haven't watched, but I'm assuming. And there's a zoom into his face. You hear the whole thing. Okay. Zok the Gemara. We just had yesterday in the Mishnah that there were 2 tkufas in Klal Yisrael. One, when women were believed to say that they were violated, and they could go out and they take a ksuba, but Chachamim realized that this is a nice trick that women are using. They're lying. They want to get out of a marriage or a bad situation and get a ksuba, so they make up stories. So if a woman says she was violated, she has to bring a raya. Says the Gemara, by where it says Gemara, Iboilu, Ormela Bala Tmeani. A woman admits that she was violated and she's married to a Kohen. Okay, so we say that she continues being married and the Ran discusses kumvasei, however it works. But Ma'u Shatoicha B'Truma, could we differentiate and say, on the one hand, she remains married because we don't want her to pull off any shtick and lie about it. On the other hand, she admits she can't eat truma, so let her not eat truma. What's the big deal? Nothing will happen if she doesn't eat truma. She doesn't have the right to create problems for her children, which, in a roundabout way, will make her husband divorce her. If she has children that are halalim, and people are talking about, you heard about this, look, this woman can't eat, look, try to give her truma, she can't eat it. You know why? Because she was mizana. And her husband's going to hear about it, he's going to divorce her. So the trick does work. At the end of the day, the trick is going to work. So let her eat truma, everything is fine, and like this, her husband will keep her, and no tricks. Rava Amar Eino Cheles. No, it's not a problem. Even if she doesn't eat truma, nobody's going to start making cheshbonis here. Oh, she was mistomim mizana. No, it's easier to get chula. You know why she never serves truma at home? It's easier. It comes by quicker. You go to the makala, that's what they sell. Omar Rava. However, Rav Sheshes agrees to me. If she loses her husband, and typically an almana of a kahyan can continue eating truma if she has kids. What's the whole point? That people will start talking about her children, but in a case where she lost her husband, she's a widow, it's already, and I skipped the word on purpose for a second. They'll say, it happened now. The reason why she can't eat truma is because now she was violated by somebody not good, like some sort of nasan or something. V'nizgarsha. The same case happens in Izgarsha. However, over here you have to stick in a word that she herself is a kahyan. Because if she's a divorcee, just to review the halacha, any divorcee from a kahyan, a Yisraelis who married a kahyan, and they get divorced, she loses the ability to eat the truma. So of course over here she lost the ability. The answer is because she herself is a kahyan. She's the daughter of a kahyan. She's a kahanis. And she should be able to eat truma on her own sake. No, but because she was violated, or she's mizana, she loses that ability. Rav Papa was a Talmud of Rava. In fact, Rav Papa took over the Rosh Hashiva. He became the Rosh Hashiva. Sometimes the Gemara even says, if there's like a steer in Rava, they'll say, oh, you sure it was Rava that said it? Maybe Rav Papa said it in his name. It's not really a contradiction. So Rav Papa took over. So Rav Papa says, Rava used to ask us questions to see if we were sharp. And he asked us this. Eishes Koyen Shenenza Yesh lo ksuba or ein lo ksuba. Does the wife of a Kohen it's known that she was nenas, known that she was violated. Does she have a ksuba or not? Kiv in doinus, what's the question? And obviously it has to do with our Mishnah. He's going to bring it right from our Mishnah. Kiv in doinus legabe Kohen, kirotz and legabe Yisrael. You admit to me, in both of these cases, if a woman who's married to Yisrael goes ahead and is mizana beratzon on her own will, he must divorce her. So if she is violated by a Kohen, he must divorce her. In both cases, she doesn't get a ksuba. Ein lo ksuba, maybe even in the case of the Kohen. Just like by Yisrael, she doesn't get a ksuba when she did it willingly. You can compare the two cases. Willingly by Yisrael, unwillingly by a Kohen. They're very similar. No, both have to divorce. And by the Yisrael, he has to give her a ksuba. So too, by the Kohen, has to give her a ksuba. Dilma, Matziamrila, Ana Chazina. Listen, I am roi to get married. I'm marriageable material. People can marry me. Any Yisrael in the world can marry me. It's the Kohen's problem, not my problem. Put me on the shidduch market, anybody can marry me. So, right? He didn't like it so much. I have to admit that I had a hard time with it as well. At the end of the day, she married a Kohen. She got herself into it. No, she's saying, look, what happened to me is a situation that passes me only for Kohanim, not for Yisraelim. So if you think about it, it's your problem, not mine. It's nistaf chasadeyu. From Rian Lei, and we told Rava Masnisin he. It says in our Mishnah, now, we are big chachamim because we know the end of the Gemara. But how did the Gemara get to this position? How do we know that the Mishnah doesn't say anything about a Kohen? The Mishnah just says a story. A woman. Now, who's this woman? And the first daf, right? So one of the very difficult for me personally is when I fly, usually from here to America, I usually have to give, I think every single time, I had to give 2 shiurim in one day. For me, it's very difficult because I could only concentrate on one day at a time and I go slow and the whole thing. So in Nazir Daf Beis, the Gemara says the famous line, Chesur Mechsera. And anytime the Gemara says that, I like to explain to Beis Yosef that doesn't mean words are missing. Chas Shalom, Rebbe forgot to put words in. It means it's obvious. People, and the reason is because the Mishnah has to be very concise because people are memorizing it. The more words you put in there, the harder it is to remember. So you put a couple of words in there, and those who understand. Over here also. It doesn't say anything about a Kohen, but it has to be a Kohen. It's not Chesuri Mechsera. This, if you have a little bit of a Gemara cup, you understand that the Mishnah is talking about a Kohen. Why? Very, very simple. The Mayaskina. Eli Beis Yisrael, if you're talking about that a woman shows up, she's married to a regular Yisrael, and she says, oh, by the way, I was violated. Now, what was the situation? Iberatzin, she did it on purpose. Klum yesh l'ksuba. Of course she doesn't have a ksuba. She's admitting to znos. V'ba'oines. And if it happened unwillingly, against her will, Mika mitzvah al gavra, she's not even usher to her husband. What ksuba? There's no divorce here. So it's so obvious. Vela Beis is Kohen. We must say, number one, it's talking about a Kohen. Now, what happened with the Kohen? Iberatzin, if it was willingly, Klum yesh l'ksuba, of course she doesn't have a ksuba. Migar Beis Yisrael, she's no different than a Yisraelis who admits to znos, beratzin. Ela ba'oines, obviously, we're talking about a Kohen, and we're talking about against her will. Okay, so again, Rav asked the question. Eishes Kohen shenenza yesh l'ksuba. He wanted to see if Rav Papa learned the correct pshat in the last Mishnah in Masechet Nedarim. That's all he was doing. Now they're learning, I don't know, they're in the middle of Avodah Zarah somewhere. And Rav says, by the way, Rav Papa, what do you think about this and this and that? And he immediately had to calculate and say, there's a Mishnah in the Dara. And we had to learn Pshat in that Mishnah that's talking about a Kohen. And not only a Kohen, but a Kohen that his wife was Nenas. And it says that she gets a ksuba. Great, so I have an answer to you. Iboilu. A woman comes to her husband and chutzpah to her husband. She says, she's mischatzev, let's say. She says to her husband, Gerishtani, you divorce me. Think about it. What woman could say something like that to her husband? Fabricate a story from scratch. There's a divorce. Yeah, you know what a divorce looks like? You were in a bezdin. How big is it? What does it look like? Could you divorce me? In other words, I want to marry some other guy. Could she go and get married? Does her words, now where's the get? I don't have a get, I lost it. But you divorced me. If a woman says, I was violated to you, Kayan, I'm talking to you, I'm also to you, even if you go according to the later generation, where they had to institute and say that she's not believed at all because women were using this as a trick to get out of a marriage, with a mishakra. In that case, where she says she was violated, she's lying. Why? It's one of these stories she can make up and say, when you were away, this and this happened, and nobody will ever know the truth. So there's no ha'aza over here. There's no chutzpah. But to look her husband, she's married to him for 20 years, to look him in the face and say, you gave me a divorce. How could a woman do that? It's physically impossible. The other, he knows that she's lying or not lying. Mehemna. So if she's able to gather the courage and tell him to his face that he divorced her, obviously he divorced her. The chazaka in isha mi'iza poneh b'fnei bala. We had many times chazaka in other meis poneh b'fnei bal chayvai. This is chazaka. We know human nature. Human nature is that a married woman, will not look in her husband's eyes and say, you divorce me. And if she does, it was actually a divorce. So Rava argues. By the way, as the Ran, this might be the last one in the Masechta, where he says the halacha. He says the halacha is like Rav Hamnuna. We always paskin like Rav Hamnuna in Shas, he says. Adarab. You're bringing me a raya, even according to Mishnah Achroina. I'm saying even in the beginning, in the first generations, that a woman is believed that she was nenas. Nothing happened to her. It's a sob story. So a woman, if she comes to Bezdin and says this and this happened, then we have to believe her. Why would she come and say, I was violated? We have to believe her. But if sometimes it happens, says the Gemara, they're in a huge fight, so she's going to say, Mi'izo, Mi'iza. She's going to say to his face, she has to get out of the fight. Mi'izo, Mi'iza.
This is a business relationship at the end of the day, on some level. She needs the Kabbalah. What's the having that she can do this without having a receipt? Proof. You need proof, like any like
she's not asking for
money.
No. She's asking to get married. That's what I'm saying. If she's asking,
where's the proof?
The get, she wants to get married. She's not asking for money now.
Show the get, show the proof. Otherwise, you can't.
The proof is the chazaka. It's chazaka. A chazaka is proof.
Like in business, you need proof.
In business, chazaka works. Cheskas gimel shanim works. This chazaka works. Chazaka works sometimes.
I'm saying exactly.
And the chazaka goes bye.
Get out of it. Show proof. If you don't have proof, then you can't do it.
Sometimes you don't need proof. Sometimes this is the proof. Chazaka is the proof.
Whether you made it or not. The whole thing doesn't start. You need to have some sort of real proof.
That's
otherwise
real.
You're arguing with
real psychologies, chachamim are oimid al das b'nei adam, and that's the thing.
Whether you made it or not. So
do we use chazaka in other ways as proof? Yes. So over here, in other ways, but Rava argues, and Rava says that's not good enough. Just recently, some woman in America got mad at her husband. I don't know what. She took a gun. It was all on video. Took a gun and shot him. And then it malfunctioned. She tried to shoot him again and again. It didn't go. Mi'izo. She's willing to kill him. She's willing to say, you divorced me. Mazar Misharshi. Hashamayim beini leveincha. The Mishnah Rishayna. So what happened? We said in the Mishnah that a woman tells her husband, by the way, as I should have warned before, we're getting to like more of an adult sugya, so if you have children and you're makved, just be aware. So, not the end of the world sugyas, but nevertheless. Beini leveincha is a condition where the woman says, I know that you physically can't have children. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows, besides me and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Mishnah Rishayna, Tiyufta Derav. Why is it a question in the beginning? When she was believed, and he had a divorce and give her ksuba. Hacha, the less like kisufa, v'katanim demehemna. Rav's whole taina is that why would a woman stand up there and tell Bezdin she was violated? It's embarrassing. Over here, she has no busha. She says, I don't have a problem. He has a problem. He can't have children. I want out. As the Ran explained, I need children not because of the mitzvah of children, because she doesn't have the chiyuv, but I want children to take care of me when I'm older. I need a cane. I need somebody to bury it. She has a taina. But there's no busha. You're telling me it's because of the busha she's believed. Says the Gemara, no, because Avarava uad is busha. Hasam kivin delay sagila delay amra and yorik yechetz. What is she saying? She's claiming that it's not powerful enough to impregnate her. So it's not yorik yechetz. Now she can't even come to Bezin and use that lashon, which is a mushal. Doesn't shoot like an arrow. She has to say berachal bitcha aktana, exactly what she meant and exactly what she felt. That's very embarrassing for her. That she's not going to get up and do it unless it's true. Ask the Gemara, but what about the second part of the Mishnah? That exact story, but in the later generation. Why? Because both of them, the Gemara understands both of them know what's going on. She's chutzpahdik to somebody that knows. Shouldn't the husband know if he's able, if he's capable or not? It's just like a woman telling her husband, "You divorced me." She's telling him something that he knows or doesn't know. And also the husband knows if he's yarik chetz or not. And she's not believed. Says Gemara, yes, he knows that he's able to be bayal, he's able to complete an act. He doesn't know the power and the force. Only she can know that. So again, it's one of these things that the husband can't argue on. It's not like a divorce where he knows whether he gave her a divorce. Here's a physical condition that the Gemara understands now that only she could feel and know, and memela she's mishaker. Says the Gemara, this is halacha in Shulchan Aruch, that after relations you have to wash your hands like negelvasser 6 times. Some do 8 times. So every morning after she had a minute, she would wash his hands. So she brings him water in the morning. Now usually he went to do negelvasser himself. When she brought him water, it was a certain simon to him. Omar lo, what are you doing? You didn't have relations last night? Omar le imkain. Oh, you're right. I had, you didn't have. We have a little problem here. Must be imkain chad min nachrim. It must have been that a guy was boil me. Ahaloi. One of these guys that sells perfume, he's running around the neighborhood. He must be the guy. Now, it was a oinus. She's admitting it was a oinus. She brought him negovasser. She played a whole game here. Here's negovasser. He says, what are you doing? She says, I was nival. Oh, it must have been another person. Oh, another person. It was by mistake. It must have been a guy. So we have to say, Taisa says on the side here, we're talking about a kahn. Must be a kahn. Because the Yisrael, she's completely mutter to him. They're saying, You're a Kohen, and I was with a guy last night. Give me a divorce. What a beautiful Einfal. Very tricky woman here. Comes with the negavas. Oh, mamish tzedekis. Only to say, oh, must have been a problem here last night. Okay. Says the Gemara, if it wasn't you, maybe it was them. We can't trust her at all. Oh, sponsor. In Yerushalayim, and Rav David Amin Shlita, who always encourages us to finish Shas. And the members of the HBA Group and their families. Says the Gemara. She wasn't in a good mood. She usually was in a good mood. What happened? I never had such pain during the Maisa. What do you mean, Maisa? There's no I haven't been with you in a week. Says the Gemara, but there's a problem. I was with someone last night. It must have been the guy. If it wasn't you, maybe he's one of them. Now, if it wasn't that, came over and he says, listen, well, what's the two stories here? One story is enough. Must be that we're talking about a litvak and a chassid. The litvak, he wears a lot of perfume, so the wife, deodorant, says the wife was confused between him and the guy. The chassid, he only goes to the mikveh and takes showers only in the mikveh, but when he comes out of the mikveh, we're makbid not to shower because you want the kedusha of the mikveh water, so he smelled like neft. And Mela, she was confused. This is pshat. Chas v'shalom. He said it to me with his mamish slap. They're calling off a care. They like it.
It's true. It's a good work.
He thinks it's emes. He's saying it's emes. It's not funny. You don't laugh on something that's true.
No, you have to ask, why is the Gemara bringing two? No, it's a good question. Why is the Gemara bringing two?
Elamai, that's the pshat.
That's the pshat, but there's got to be a mahal. No, if you don't like that pshat, you live in pshat.
No.
Why is the Gemara repeating itself for?
That there's such stories that women make up stories. They come up with all sorts of ideas. Omalu Rav Nachman. Oh. Don't pay any attention to that Eli guy. She had a plan here. She made up a story. It was all fabricated. Says the Gemara, there was a guy that wasn't married to this woman, and he was being misyachad with a woman in her house. Oh, the worst thing that could happen happened. Oh, the husband shows up. Shalom Aleichem. So what does a noyev do? A typical noyev, what does he do?
Jumps out the window.
He either he hides under the bed, runs into the closet. This guy, no. Part of noyev luhutza. Hutza is always like a very flimsy fence. He broke the fence, v'arak, and he ran away. And right in front of the husband, he starts running. Amarava, you have to understand human psychology. It's a sharia. If that's the case, that he ran away right in front of the husband, you should know he's not a noyev. Why? If this guy is a true noyev, irkuse hava mirkas, he would have hid. A noyev hides. A noyev doesn't run away that the husband should see him. He ran away because he's embarrassed. He was caught. Biyichud. But if there was a physical maisa, he wouldn't run away. Again, another story. You could think about this because this is, imagine a guy, a guy is, let's say, stealing, right? He goes into somebody's house and he's stealing, and the owners come in, and so he hides under the bed. And he witnesses an attempted murder. He sees somebody take out a gun. He was there because he wanted to steal $25. Now he's witnessing a whole thing. What does he do? What would anybody do? Would they start screaming, "Hey, don't kill"? And then they discover him. It's a big problem for this guy. Or he's quiet. He witnesses the whole thing. Somebody died because of him, and he goes weiter. He sneaks out of there. What would a person do? This is mamish what happened there. There was a noyef. He's hanging out of this house. The Gemara calls him a noyef. He's a bad guy. Also, Gavra, the husband shows up. Solik noyef esiv b'kaloi, but b'kaloi bava. So this taka is like Rava said. He's taka noyef. So what does a noyef do? Instead of running, he hides. He hides in the closet behind the curtain. He goes behind the curtain, stands there like a shaita. Says the Gemara, machton tachli tamon v'taminu chivya. Here, the one chart that we have today. This is tachla. Tachla is crest. I have one more chart. Check this out. Oh. That had nothing to do with Yoshi, obviously. There is a chivya. That's like a cobra. My attempt at putting a cobra in the chivya is not so gishmak. Okay, fine. The other one, not the one on the left, the one on top of the crest. Yeah. That's not a cobra?
Yes.
It is. Yeah. Okay. So the guy witnessed a snake. Now we know that the snakes they insert their venom into water. A lot of people on on migula, on water, on wine, on milk. He witnessed the snake hanging out in the tachla, in the crest. He realizes if the husband of this woman that he's noyef with eats the tachla, he might die. That's a dilemma. Does he save the husband? He starts screaming, hey! And then the husband says, I caught you. What are you doing behind the curtain? You rush, you get out of here, whatever. Or he just witnesses him eating tachla and then the guy drops dead. Also, Gavra solik noyef esiv b'chaloi bava have a mechat tachla tamam v'taminu chivya. I don't know, was it Margaret Thatcher? Who was it? What's the other guy? Roosevelt. One of them said, but I think it was like to Margaret. Somebody said, if I was your husband, I would poison you. And she said, and if I was your wife, I would drink it. But it was the opposite. Yeah, okay, fine. Churchill, that's who it was. All the good lines are not Margaret Thatcher. Okay.
No.
Right. The man of the house wanted to eat this cress. It was a big thing in those days. There's cress everywhere throughout Shas. But the intisa. He didn't say anything. He didn't tell his wife he's going to eat it. Maybe she knew also. Well, she was with a guy, and they both saw it.
She didn't see it.
No, but maybe they saw. Maybe he didn't see the snake when he was behind the curtain. Maybe he saw the snake together when he was with that woman. They both witnessed it. So he screams out from behind the curtain, hey, don't eat it. It's not a good idea. I witnessed a snake eating from it. It's a sharia. She's mutter. Why? It says about these noyafim that not only were they noyaf, but they also killed off the husband. So you see that a noyef is somebody that's chashud on ritzicha. Taisa says it's pashut that the chashud on ritzicha. The Beis Halevi says, where do we find ever in Shas that somebody that's a noyef, he has a taiva, he's also going to kill. So he says that what Taisus means is that when the ritzicha is connected to the niyov, then he's chashud. When he has a chance to kill off the husband, then he'll kill him off. He's not a ritzeach. He doesn't go around the street shooting people in the street. But when it has to do with his aveira, then we have to be choishesh. And that's what the Gemara says later about mayim gnuvim yimtaku, as we'll see. We'll have to finish that tonight. Be'ezer Hashem, Rabbi Sai. Tonight is the Siyum here in Ramat Bet Shemesh. Tomorrow in Miami. Everybody, even if you're Litvish, you can still sign up. So it'll be a shtickle tight over there, but it's geshmak when it's tight. Have a wonderful day. Wish me luck. Daven for me. We'll see you Be'ezer Hashem when I come back from Los Angeles. I don't know exactly when.